Okay, well, I would be celebrating the long-awaited retirement of Brady, but apparently that's not official yet. It may not even be true. But we do have Vikings news today. They interviewed Patrick Graham, the Giants defensive coordinator. Um, Heard his name out there for a few days. I've been wondering almost if it's more of like, they're gonna be hiring Dable over in New York. Maybe they're gonna clear out the coaching staff. Maybe they'd be thinking of bringing Graham on as DC. I don't know. But they interviewed him. But the bigger news is that we are officially going to be interviewing Jim Harbaugh. Um, uh, it's been talked about that he might want to get back in the NFL. He was kind of unceremoniously run out of the NFL. I forget what year exactly. It was his last year with the 49ers, but he got him to a Super Bowl, got him to I think two conference championship games. Um, Very successful head coach over there, and of the retread names that have come up during this whole process, I'd be the most interested in him by far, way more than when they were talking about Doug Peterson, or more than Raheem Morris, and Dan Quinn's out of the mix, but I wasn't too interested in him. I would be very intrigued with Harbaugh. I mean, you can't really question the results. Like he as an NFL head coach, he was very successful. Um, and the ownership kind of ran him out. He's a bit of a kind of a you know he'd be a little more. Normally, like, you fire like a Mike Zimmer, you're going to hire somebody who's a little more of a maybe a friendly guy. I don't know that Harbaugh's in that vein. He can be kind of a hothead, but and he was very successful in his first stint in the NFL and as a head coach. I absolutely think he's he's legit candidate to get a second shot at the NFL. Um, you know, I don't know if he's going to be, and there's like a little bit of a crossover with him and Kwesi, um, with the 49ers, but I mean that would be years ago at this point. So I don't know how much that plays into it. Maybe you're just going out there and interviewing another guy. Um, but I would be intrigued by him. I like of all the names that have been talked about and that are still out there, he'd probably be in my top three with D'Amico Ryans and Kevin O'Connell. And I don't know what the order would be for that. I still would probably prefer one of the assistants, but it would be an interesting one if they hired Harbaugh. And if they hire Harbaugh, they're not going to be hiring Jim Harbaugh uh, to tear this thing down, because there's the tank Nazis in the media and fan base are saying, oh, we have to just destroy the roster, we have to tear it all down and rebuild for 5 years. Well, no, we don't, and no, we shouldn't. And you know, the Wills said that they want to be competitive. They're not interested in just tearing this thing down, and I agree. They want to be competitive next year. I think you bring in Harbaugh, you're going to be competitive. You know you're going to be a good team, um, because he's been good. Um, and he almost won. He was like one pass away maybe from winning a Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick, and obviously there's all sorts of Kaepernick drama, but you know he was a good quarterback, but he wasn't a top tier quarterback, and he almost won a Super Bowl. So that's kind of the thinking here, is like guys who know how to win when they maybe don't have the absolute top tier quarterback like a Mahomes, or because you're not going to get those guys. Sorry, but yeah, and so if you hire Harbaugh, you're not tearing this thing down, which means you are probably keeping Kirk Cousins. We'll have a Michigan head we would have a Michigan head coach and a Michigan State quarterback. Hopefully, they could coexist a little bit. Um, but it's intriguing. I'm intrigued. I'm at full intrigue on the idea of Jim Harbaugh. I would still prefer one of the assistants, at least one of them. I mean, well, not at least one of them. One of those other two, they're going to be available after tomorrow. So, um, we'll see how this goes. I think they're supposed to interview Harbaugh tomorrow, so someone else is going to be available after Sunday. So this thing's going to heat up. But yeah, Harbaugh's interesting. Harbaugh's an interesting candidate to me. If he could get us to 3 straight NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl, I'm all for it.